I've just finished watching some instructors at various universities talk about transgenderism.
It's important to keep in mind that a transgender identity on its own is just a manifestation of human diversity.
And I'm hearing over and over again that being transgender is not a mental health issue. It's not a disorder. It's a normal developmental path. It's part of our normal diversity.
The whole idea of the gender binary across biology as a whole is simply a myth and should be discarded as a quaint throwback to an earlier conceptualization.
And yet, these same people are insisting that people who are transgender have access to medical interventions to change their external appearance.
I don't identify as a woman. I am a woman.
So I'm trying to make sense of this. And what it sounds like is they're saying that being transgender isn't a mental health issue, but that these people are somehow entitled to cosmetic surgery because they're uncomfortable with how they look.
Being transgender isn't a diagnosis.
So either being transgender is a mental health issue, in which case it deserves to be treated as such, or it's not a mental health issue, in which case any transgender person who wants to change their external appearance medically is like the rest of us who want to change our appearances in some way. And you're not entitled to that. We're not entitled to that. Feeling good about how you look is not a medical issue. No matter how much you want to insist that you should be allowed these interventions, puberty blockers, hormones, mutilating surgeries, no matter how much you insist that those are medical interventions that you should get, they are cosmetic. For some reason, trans individuals have more rights to be comfortable with their external presentation than the rest of us. So if we're gonna go down this route, if we're gonna say that transgender health care is medically necessary, then we need to say that any cosmetic surgery that anybody wants is also medically necessary. And ultimately the problem is that being transgender isn't a normal developmental pathway. It isn't normal to want to harm your healthy, functional body. If your body's functioning, if your body's healthy, if your body's working right, you have no right to cosmetic interventions. You have no right to look how you want to look. That's not something that's protected in our Constitution, and it's not something our insurance companies should be required to cover.